and we are sharing tools of hope for the resilience builders. I am here with my guest and friend, Anish Verma, who is high performance mindset coach. He's here with us today to talk about, everybody's talking about goal setting, and at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year, people always talk about goal setting. Here's the thing, for Anish and I, this is something you can do anytime, all year long. But because it's the beginning of the year, we're going to just kind of dive into a different way. These are literally, he has a secret that people don't usually talk about with goals. And that's what I love about his approach, is he has this way of going after it that not everybody does. And that's why goals fail. That's why resolutions, everybody rolls their eyes with resolutions. So Anish is going to teach us the goal setting kind of technique, but the secret underneath it, to allow us to have high performance resilience, to actually be able to follow through with the goals. So here we are with Anish. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Ana-Christina. Thank you for having me. I'd love to talk to your audience like I did during the summit as well. I really enjoy working with you. So yeah, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. So, give us just a little bit of backstory on how you got to be a high performance mindset coach, like not just a mindset coach, but this is about high performance. And what we want to do is bring that into the resilience world, right? We want to bring that into the resilience world.
Exactly. So just a quick background about myself. I've been working in the corporate world for about 21 plus years. And, I was always dabbling on the business side, on the entrepreneurial world side as well while I was working. So I tried multiple ventures and I was trying to replicate my corporate success into the entrepreneurial world. And I struggled doing that. I was doing very well. And I worked for big companies, Fortune 5 companies in the world, globally. And when I was trying to replicate that success from there onto the entrepreneurial world, it was a big struggle. I failed multiple times. I failed in my 5 business ventures before I finally took a step back to find out what's going on. And that is when I started my self-discovery, self-investigative journey on trying to understand what is the difference between an entrepreneurial mindset and a corporate mindset. And I think that is the study that I took over, and I dug deep into the science behind mindset and into neuroplasticity, epigenetics, quantum physics. Being an engineer myself, I want to understand why things work the way they do. And that's how I got started. I'm a certified John Maxwell coach, and I focus on high performance mindset. As entrepreneurs, we need to be very, very resilient. I'm still in an entrepreneurial journey despite my 5 failures. Obviously, that is because of my resilience. And I believe, Ana-Christina, that is what your audience is looking for too as well. So that is why the strategy, the principles apply wherever you need resilience in life.
Yeah, you bet. And when I'm tying together the idea, because I can just, here's my mind read, right? Is that people behind the scenes are like, well, what does this have to do with, the entrepreneurs in the house are like, what does first responders have to do with anything? Or what does the first responders in the house? Because you and I teach very different groups.
Yes.
And we teach very foundational tools, right?
Yes.
That work with any group, really.
Absolutely.
But as a first responder, I might be thinking, what does entrepreneurial mindset have to do with first response or victim advocacy? Well, here's what I see, and here's what I hear on a one-on-one basis, okay? First responders, in a lot of times, they don't talk a lot about what just happened in a bad call. Victim advocates are not allowed to talk about what just happened. So it's a very solo journey on your trauma. It's a very solo journey on what just happened that's taking over your thoughts, as is with entrepreneurs, as is with CEOs, whatever. It's kind of a solo journey.
It is.
Even though we carry the burden well, it doesn't mean it's not heavy. So you and I are kind of partnering in this way where it looks like we teach very different kinds of people, but the bottom line is we're coming into a place where we're teaching really foundational, and in this case, resilience tools. So I just kind of want to tie that together. It's been the end of a very tiring year, the end of 2020 with COVID and the politics. And guess what? The calendar changed. I flipped the page on my calendar, but guess what? The politics crap is still floating around, and the COVID crap is still going crazy all over the world. And the stress level, people are tired. People are tired. So how do we keep moving forward is to set goals. But I'll tell you what, goals are not sexy. They're kind of a pain in the butt. It just feels more of a burden. And when I heard about how you teach goals, I said, we gotta talk about this, because you have a secret that underlies the goal setting so that we can take steps forward even when we're tired.
Right.
So I know that this is your passion too. So I'm just jazzed that you're here.
Absolutely. And you know, you talk about, resilience and, the victim advocates can't talk and open up. Same thing in the entrepreneurial world. I can't tell my employees that I can't make payroll for you next month. And it's a very tough situation. I mean, who are you going to share all these details with? You're not going to share it with your family, with your wife, and to stress them out, right? So it becomes a very solo journey. Even though you're working with employees and a larger group of people. And that's why I think, Ana-Christina, you and I are part of this mastermind group, so that, we are surrounded by like-minded people on our own individual journeys, but we share the same passion, the same path towards achieving our dreams and purpose. So I think there's a lot of similarities. And the 5 secrets that I'm going to share today are based on principles that apply in any situation, no matter what. Mm-hmm. So anybody will be able to leverage this, these 5 secrets. So if you're okay, we can get started. I'll start sharing my screen and we'll go.
Yeah, I'll do one more thing though, is I want to give your contact information. So it's Anish Verma, and it's empowermindset.coach. Empowermindset.coach. And at the end of this video, he's going to give you a link to be able to contact him to get the 5 secrets to goal setting blueprint. It's an ebook. So it's kind of like, okay, here we go, 5 secrets, right? And kind of dive deep. So he will give you a link to be able to contact him, which I think you can at this link, right? Empowermindset.coach.
Yeah.
So this is really how you're going to be able to get that ebook. All right, super.
I'll give my email address as well. People can just send me an email address referred to this session, and I'll send them the ebook. No problem.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Take it away.
All right, let me start sharing my screen. Let me know when you can see it, Ana-Christina.
Yep, I sure can.
You can see it. Did it come up for you?
It sure did. Yep, you're up.
Oh, it did come up. All right, great. All right, so let's get going. So, we already made an introduction. This is a condensed version of my ebook. So you will have more context when you read the ebook. Things will resonate more, but I'll do my best to, within the time that we have, to walk you guys through this goal setting blueprint. And when I created these secrets, these came about after about 4 years worth of research, where I was, reading a lot of books, interviewing entrepreneurs, spending time with entrepreneurs in their masterminds, and trying to figure out, why they were successful and why some were not. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. So why are some people more successful than the others? And I think it all condensed down to basically these 5 secrets. Now, I want you guys to understand context as to where I'm coming from, right? At the end of the day, we are what we desire. Energy flows where focus goes. If you are not intentional of what you want, you will get in life that you may not even be wanting, right? You will always get what you want if you're going to be intentional with it. That is why having goals is very, very important. And keep in mind, guys, God does not create junk, right? So we are all born with equal potential, right? But we all grow up to be unique people. We have our own upbringings, our own environments, and we are product of our environment. At the end of the day, at a scientific level, it has been proven that only 5% of who we are, physically, spiritually, mentally, is a product of our environment. Only 5% comes from a genetic inheritance. So what we really want to accomplish can be done if we can apply our minds and thoughts right. Desires and goals are all thoughts, and thoughts become results. And that is what I'm going to talk a little bit about with you guys today. Before we get started into the 5 secrets of goal setting, I also wanted to spend about 5 minutes talking about how our minds work. Now, this is very important to understand, because my belief is if you understand why things work the way they do, you will be able to apply them better and consistently over a longer period of time. Okay, so we all know about our human brain. Our human brain, has three types of brains actually: the neocortex, the limbic brain, and the reptilian brain. We will not talk too much about the reptilian brain. The reptilian brain is basically the brain that is completely focused on survival, right? But there's the neocortex and the limbic brain. Now, the neocortex brain is also called as the conscious mind. Now, Dr. Thurman Fleet came up with this concept of a mind. Nobody had created the picture of a mind before 1936. So Dr. Thurman Fleet came up with this picture. So if you look at this picture, the upper half is your conscious mind, and the lower half is your subconscious mind. The conscious mind is also your thoughtful mind, the analytical mind. It is your neocortex part of the brain, right? The frontal lobe of your brain. The subconscious mind is your emotional mind. Okay. That is where a lot of your beliefs, habits, perceptions reside. Emotional subconscious mind does not understand language. It just understands feelings. Your conscious mind understands language. Now, the conscious mind obviously has limited capability. It cannot multitask, but the subconscious mind can multitask, right? So your habits reside in a subconscious mind, for example. That is why you can brush your teeth while thinking about something else, because you're multitasking at that same time. Why you can do that? Because you are not spending conscious effort while brushing your teeth and thinking, right? Thinking you're doing consciously, but you're brushing your teeth subconsciously. Okay, just as an example. So let me move forward. Conscious mind is where all your thoughts come in, right? That's where awareness is. You think through your conscious mind. But most of the decisions that you make in your life are made through the subconscious mind. Actually, only 5% of decisions in your life you will make through conscious mind. And 95% of the decisions will be made through subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is your emotional mind. It has your perceptions, your opinions, beliefs, habits, rituals, culture, right? This is the environment that you grew up in, and when you were growing up, everything that was fed into your mind, you're smart, you're good looking, you're stupid, you're good for nothing. Whatever you heard got registered in your subconscious mind. And if 95% of the decisions that you make in your life are through the subconscious mind, think of which mind you need to change to achieve your goals. Think of this, right? If there is a tug of war, and 95 people are standing on one side and 5 people standing on the other side, which side is going to win? People with 95, the side with 95 people, right? So if you have to achieve whatever you're putting your mind to, you have to retune your subconscious mind, not your conscious mind. So achieving your goals is a lawful process. Yeah, creating goals is a creative process, it is an intellectual process, but achieving your goals is a lawful process. And those are the laws, the principles that I'm going to talk to you guys about, the 5 secrets that I talk about. But you need to understand which portion of your mind you need to fine tune to achieve your goals. And these 5 secrets that I've written, they are written from a context of achievement, right? You have to set them first, but you have to set them in such a way that you can achieve them. So secret number one is why and who. All of us are taught of setting goals based on the what approach. Let me give an example. I want to lose 10 pounds is a resolution that 95% of the world sets up on 1st of January. And by mid of February, we all forget that resolution. Now, losing 10 pounds is a what-based approach. Your what is that resides in your conscious mind. Okay. But if you choose to say, you know what, I want to live a healthy lifestyle, that becomes a why-based approach. Why do you want to live a healthy lifestyle? Because I want to delay getting the chronic illnesses as much as possible in my lifetime. I want to be healthy. I want to be healthy when I have grandchildren so that I can play with them. There has to be a certain why behind your goal, because that will inspire you. That'll come from within you. Okay. I want to get promoted to become a director is a what-based approach. But a why-based approach would be I thrive in challenges and I love leading teams. I'm passionate about leading teams, right? That is a why-based approach. And your why comes from your purpose, okay? Your why comes from your pain. Now, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this golden circle concept that Simon Sinek spoke about in his Start With Why book. And he spoke about, when you begin with things that start with a why, which is very intrinsic, internal part of this concentric circles, your chances of your succeeding, the probability of you succeeding to achieve that why is much, much more higher. And if you look at this, right, your why coincides with the limbic brain. Your limbic brain is where your subconscious mind is. Okay. So the what-based approach will always fail because it is not associated with a bigger purpose of your life. So you need to have a why-based approach. Let me give you a few pointers, right? Why is your purpose of your life? Now, some people say the why comes from your pain. You might have gone through a lot of hardships and now you can teach other people of how to avoid those hardships. That becomes your purpose. Ana-Christina, you relate to this very well. Your why also comes from your passions. What are you passionate about? When I ask people, what are you passionate about? People say, I am very passionate about my job. But if I ask them, will you do your job if you don't get paid? 100% of people tell me no. That means you're not passionate about your job. You're doing your job just to make ends meet. Think of your passions as something that you will pay for to fulfill them. You love to listen to music, so you'll go and attend a concert. You love music, so you learn how to play guitar or a musical instrument, so you'll pay to learn that skill. You will pay to indulge in your passion. A passion is something that you will pay to do, not receive money to do. Some people make a lot of money from their passion because they have mastered it, but that is what you got to think about. Okay, your why will inspire you. Okay, your what based approach may motivate you for some time, and that is why, when you set your new year resolutions, it's like using starter fluid and throwing it on a campfire. It'll burst into flames for a short period of time, but it will not sustain itself over the long 12 months of the year. But if you base your goals on why and the fire is within, it will stay longer provided you set the right habits. And where do habits reside? Habits reside in your subconscious mind. So I leave you with this thought, right? Discipline takes over when motivation dies. Darren Hardy says this a lot, and in his book, The Compound Effect. Discipline, think habits, right? You can only get discipline when you have habits. That is why you brush your teeth every day in the morning and once in the night, probably because your parents taught you how to be disciplined with brushing your teeth, with that ritual. The same thing applies with your goals. Only if you become disciplined of achieving your goals, you will achieve them. Okay, so that is the first part, why. The second part is who. Now, the who-based approach is what you want to become in life, right? What legacy do you want to leave? Think about what legacy do you want to leave behind? What will your family write on your tombstone when you are not here anymore? That is your who. Okay. If somebody's creating a movie or writing a book about you, what will they write? That is your who. What kind of a life do you want to live is your who based approach. I want to retire at the age 45 so that after that I can live my life the way I want to. That's a who based approach, right? You need to think about your why and your who together because they dovetail into each other and they're very, very important, right? And remember, you get in life who you are and not what you want. Now, this is a scientific principle, and this was mentioned by Myron Golden. He's a great business author and coach, and he's very, very successful. He has written a book, From Trash Man to Cash Man, and he's a millionaire now. He was a trash truck driver, trash truck driver in Pittsburgh, and now he's a millionaire. And he talks about this principle of you get what in life who you are and not what you want, because who you are is how you attract things in your life. Okay, what you are doesn't attract things in your life. You may want to be a millionaire, but if your habits are not like that, if you don't think like that, if you don't identify with that, you will not be able to achieve it. So this why and who are very, very important, and you have to couple this understanding of the first secret with the understanding of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. You may want to go back and look at these pictures again at the end of this presentation, because it will take some time for you to figure this out and remind yourself and register it in your mind. But that is why you need to understand how your mind works first. Okay, so that's secret number one. Let's move to secret number 2, big goals. The biggest mistake people make when writing their goals is they write their goals based on what they achieved last year. That is not a good way to write your goals. Your goals need to be big and scary. If your goals do not scare you, they are not big enough. And I hope your goals are not just about you. I hope your goals are about your family, about your community, and about what you want to give back. Humans are goal striving machines, right? If your goal is just to make money, you will fail. You will fail. But if your goal is to give back and serve people, you will make money along the way. Okay, so just making money cannot in itself be a goal. And don't be afraid to fail. Failure is nothing but a course corrective mechanism that tells you what you did not work. So you need to course correct and keep marching towards your goals. Never reduce your goals to what you have achieved. Always increase your goals in such a way that you'll always feel uncomfortable. Okay. Ruben Gonzalez, in his book, Fight for Your Dreams, spoke about a study that was done on goals and perseverance. And he said that 95% of goals can be achieved as long as you do not quit. You do not give up. Failure is not giving up. Okay. When you give up is when it is the true failure. Now, failures are course corrections along the way, but giving up is the ultimate failure. The moment you give up, you have failed, right? But 95% success guarantee, if you don't give up, is almost a guarantee that you'll achieve your goals, but you have to stay course. Okay. Zig Ziglar said this, the most popular personal development quotes that, goal casually mentioned is easily abandoned at the first obstacle. So if your goals are smaller, chances of you abandoning them are much higher. That is why you need to have big goals, scary goals that will make you uncomfortable. Now, the other mistake that people make about goals is they decide, okay, you know what, I'm going to have a big goal. I'm going to, retire in the next 5 years. It's a great goal to have. And then people spend a lot of time creating a plan to make that happen. But because you spend a lot of time planning for the goal, you get wedded to the plan and not to the goal. People forget their goal and get married to the plan, and they say it has to work based on your plan. That's a wrong strategy. Plans are meant to change. So you do not spend a lot of time planning. You can plan the first step, maybe the second step, but plans by definition are meant to change based on how you did in the first step. So don't get wedded to your plan, get wedded to your goals. And as all of us know, Lou Holtz, the popular American football coach and player, said this, right? If you are bored with your life, you don't get up every morning with a burning desire to do things, you don't have enough goals. You don't have big enough goals, so think about it. Secret number 2, need to have big goals. Secret number 3, you have to write them down, ideally on a piece of paper with a pen. Yes, you can write your goals in a computer, on your phone, on a tablet, and see them every day. But writing your goals with a pen triggers neurons in your brain that allows you to remember your goals longer than if you are just typing it up. Okay. Your subconscious mind thinks about your goals. When you think about it consciously every day, over and over again, your subconscious mind then gets the message that this goal is very important for you, and then it tries to go and makes it happen for you. Remember, your subconscious mind can multitask, your conscious mind cannot. Okay, so you got to write it down. You need to be very specific with your goals. I want to retire is not a good enough goal. I want to retire in the next 5 years is a great goal. I want to make $1 million is not a good enough goal. I want to make $1 million starting January 2024 is a good goal. A goal without a deadline is just a wish. It's just a hope. So you got to have a deadline with your goal, right? You got to write them down, print them if you're putting them on a computer, and print and stick them around wherever you spend most of your time. And you need to read your goals every day. Now, why you have to read your goals every day? Ideally, you should write down your goals every day, right? But if you are not writing them down, you got to read them every day. Why? Because when you write them down, read them, your focus goes towards your goals, and your energy flows where focus goes. That's the law of the universe. Okay. And then you also need to write your goals in a present tense. So I've given you an example, right? I make $20,000 every month beginning January of 2022. That can be your goal. $20,000 a month is $240,000 a year, right? $250,000 a year. But you got to write it in present tense. Now, this is one of the secrets that the entrepreneurs and the high performers use. When you write things in present tense, your subconscious mind thinks about it and makes and wants to make it happen as soon as possible for you. So you got to write down your goals in the present tense. Okay. In 1960, Harvard Business School did a study of their graduates over 20 years of time. They studied them over 20 years of time. And they found out something very astonishing. They found out that the 3% of those group of students made 97% of income of the entire group. And you know what the difference was between the 3%? The difference was that the 3% wrote down and read their goals every day, and the 97% did not. And that was the only difference between that group of people that Harvard Business School studied for 20 years. So you got to read your goals every day. And when you do that, magic will happen. People who can model their habits based on these principles will tend to be more successful than the others. And I've interviewed multiple people, doctors, entrepreneurs, millionaires, and they do this every day. This is part of the ritual. Like you brush your teeth every day, high performers write down their goals every day. So it's very important to write it down. And if you can't write it down, you should read your goals once in the morning, when you wake up, before you get off your bed, and once in the night before you go to sleep. These are scientific principles. If you read before you go to sleep, your mind will start dreaming about what you just read. Okay. So that is secret number 3. Secret number 4, pay the price. Now, when I say pay the price, I don't mean, that you have to actually pay just dollar value, but this is something that you have to pay the price in return, right? We all have 24 hours in a day, but Jeff Bezos is a millionaire and you and I are not. Jeff Bezos is a billionaire actually, right? Oprah Winfrey is a millionaire. Steve Jobs was a millionaire. Bill Gates is a millionaire. Why? If we all have 24 hours in a day, what are they doing differently than we do? And our intellectual capability is at par with everybody. There are very few geniuses in the world. Bill Gates and Steve Jobs do not come in the genius category. Okay, they come in the category where they have learned these principles, these scientific principles. Now, you need to decide what you're going to give up to achieve your goals. See, if you want to achieve your goals in the next 5 years, you cannot spend 3 hours every day watching television, or you're spending time on social media. You cannot be hanging out with your buddies every day in a bar, spending time with them. You will have to give up on some of those pleasures of your life. One way I encourage my students to think about this is, what happens if they do not achieve their goals? Right? You need to scare your mind a little bit with if you do not achieve your goals. Now, why do you need to scare your mind? It is genetically hardwired in humans that we instinctively react to our dominant fear. That is why humans have survived over thousands and thousands of years, because of a reptilian brain, right? Because genetically, at a cellular level, we are genetically designed to survive. Okay, so if you trick your brain and scare it of not achieving something, it will try to help you achieve your big audacious goal, right? It is very, very important. One thing about, if you say you want to have a healthy lifestyle, and if you say, write the consequence of not achieving it, the consequence is high healthcare costs. You may die sooner. You may not be able to see your grandchildren. You will have a very, very low quality of life, right? That is the consequence of not having a healthy life, right? So when you say, I want to have a healthy lifestyle, as opposed to just losing 10 pounds, you start thinking about sleeping better, eating better, thinking better, exercising. It's a holistic view of a healthy lifestyle. That is why that goal is bigger. That is why it is more achievable, and it is more long-term if you think about the why behind it. Okay. And I would also encourage you guys to find a price that you would actually pay dollars to someone to coach you to achieve your goals. None of us can achieve what we want to by our own own self. We need help from our family, from our community, from our peers. And I strongly recommend you get a mentor or coach to help you achieve your goals. This is something must. If you can't do that, you need to be part of an accountability group. You need to be part of a mastermind group where you are surrounded with like-minded people who are helping you achieve your goals, reminding you of what they are, right? That is why people who go to the gym have a gym partner that can wake them up in the morning or take them there in the evening so that they can keep each other accountable. And that is the price that you got to pay that I'm talking about. Okay. So that is very, very important. You got to figure out what you will give up to achieve your goal. Okay. All right. Fifth goal is visualize. And this is the best secret. Secret number 5 is visualize, which is the best secret that I implement a lot. Some people call it daydreaming, but visualization brings all these secrets together. Okay. Visualization is a technique that now everybody uses. Athletes use it, high performance sports people use it, entrepreneurs use it, CEOs use it, people in the resilience world use it. Why? Because visualization allows you to add color and clarity to your goals. The more clearer you are of what you want, the easier it is for your subconscious mind to help you achieve it. Think about this. If you are praying to God or to any supernatural power that you believe in, the grand overall designer, right? If you're mumbling in your prayers, God will not be able to receive it, your message. If you're teaching a kid how to speak, if you mumble, the kid will learn how to mumble. He will not be able to speak clearly, right? The same thing, the more clarity you have, the better your subconscious mind receives the message, the better your conscious mind receives the message, and the better you'll be able to do it. So it's very, very important. So if you are thinking that you're going to retire in the next 5 years, and you need to visualize what retirement means to you. Are you spending time on the beaches? Are you traveling first class with your family? Are you spending time with your parents? Are you spending time with your siblings? What are you doing? What kind of shirts are you wearing? What kind of clothes are you wearing, right? Where are you traveling? Which beach are you sitting on? The more clarity you add, the more better it is. This visualization is a fun exercise to do. Close your eyes, sit in your favorite couch or seat and visualize. It's very, very important, right? It helps add clarity to your goals. Communication. The other way to think about this is, right, when you are entering a destination in your GPS, the more clearer you are with your destination, the more easier it is for the GPS to get you there, right? You can enter cross streets. No, yeah, you can do that. But if you enter the exact address, you will get there easiest, the fastest way, right? Same thing with goals. The more clearer you are, the more intentional you are, the better you can get there. Okay. Now, the other fun thing about visualization and imagination is your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between the thing actually happening or you just imagining, right? So that is why, for example, if you're afraid of snakes, you will be afraid of snake when you see one, and you'll also be afraid of a snake when you see it in a movie or when you're reading about it in a book. Or even if you think about a snake, you will get afraid. Why? Because fear resides in your subconscious mind. So your body is trained to react to that fear because the subconscious mind doesn't know whether it's actually happening or it is your imagination, but the result is the same. Why? Because your fear, your beliefs, your habits all reside in your subconscious mind. So you got to, if you know this, then you can fine tune your subconscious mind to help you achieve what you are looking for, as opposed to just staying depressed or being in a downward spiral, right? So same thing happens from a resilience perspective, right? If you had a tough call with somebody, you got to take a break in between calls if possible, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, close your eyes, visualize the happy place that you want to achieve in life, and it'll allow you to reset quickly. Visualization is one of the most fastest ways to reset it, because your mind within a second can be there, and you will be happier in that place. It's not easy to do, but when you build a habit of doing this, it will become more and more natural. And once you become habitual, you will do it subconsciously. You will do it in an autopilot, that 95% capacity, right? That is what you'll be using. Be intentional, like I said, right? And this is one of my favorite quotes. Wallace Wattles wrote a book in 1911 called The Science of Getting Rich. And in this book, he says, with thought, the thing you want is brought to you. by action you receive it. So goal setting secrets is an intellectual process, right? You set goals in your conscious mind thoughtfully, but unless you take action, you will not achieve anything. We all know this, but you need to take action only also through your subconscious mind. Let your subconscious mind that has 95% capacity can multitask, do things for you, right? And if you can leverage that, if you can train your subconscious mind to go out there to help you achieve your goals, you will be able to achieve your goals. It is a guarantee. This is not, these are scientific principles that every entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur, has spoken to me about. And I've spoken to medical doctors about this, and they talk about the same thing. I have spoken to, people who have struggled and failed, and they will put their why they struggled and failed to this. And that is when I stepped back, Ana-Christina, and investigated this whole thing. It all boils down to these 5 secrets, and these five secrets are the principles. So they work in no matter what situation. You just have to fine tune it a little bit, but they will work for you in your situation as well. So I think those are the 5 secrets I wanted to cover. I hope this helps. Once again, why and who approach, big goals, write them down, pay the price, and visualize. And I think if you can do that, nothing will stop you. You have unlimited potential. You just need to be intentional, own it, and just go about it, making 2021 the best year ever for you guys. It's in your control. Yeah, don't give the power to others or bad luck to get control of your life. There is no bad luck. We all attract these things in our life intentionally, unintentionally, because we don't understand it. So there you go, Ana-Christina. I hope this helps. I hope this is of value to the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Anish, thank you very much. So I had a couple of questions. Number one, thank you for pulling this together. The thing that most people miss when they talk about writing down your goals is really what I look at is the first one and the last one, the secrets, right? Is the why and the who. That's the first one. And then a lot of people talk about, the goals, but what I loved about what you talked about is big goals, right? Instead of setting a goal and saying, well, this is what I did before, so let me try to do 1% more than that, or let me try to at least meet that, right? That's a small goal. So your idea of the big goal, and then write it down. I think I've heard that a little bit before too. The thing I love about what you're talking about, and I've heard this, is it does something biochemically and it does something physically when we write. I had people watching me on the summit, and they were watching the interviews on the summit, and I had a police officer, and she says, "Dang, girl, you take a lot of notes." Part of that's because I'm visual and I'm kinesthetic, and so it really sticks for me better. I love what people are teaching. I love what they're saying, what we're learning from them, and I write it down. So that idea of writing down, it can just be the draft, right? If you want to go back and then put it in the computer as the final form, that's great. The exercise of actually writing it with a pen does things, let me put it that good, does good things in your brain.
Yeah, just to add the scientific reason behind that, Ana-Christina, is that, we all have these senses, right? We have sensory receptors in our body. 90% of these sensory receptors are fine-tuned or are geared for visual senses. So what you see is what you believe. So if you're just thinking or imagining about it, you're not using all your senses. But when you write it down, you're seeing it. And that seeing it makes it more real. And that's where your mind gets it, because 90% of your sensory receptors are visual.
Absolutely, 100%. I love that. And when you're reading it out loud, you're looking at it, you're hearing it, and oh, by the way, it just came through your face. So, and I say that in the most loving way, it just came through your face, which means that you just felt the words coming out. So you're visualizing, you're hearing it, and you're feeling it as you are reading it out loud. So I love that idea. And I just wanted to mention that, is that, hey, if you want to type it up on your computer so you can post it in different places or put it on your phone, that's fine too. And we're encouraging you to do the first draft, at least the first draft, handwritten. A lot of times I'll handwrite a draft and then I'll rewrite a final with my hands. and then I can type it up if I want to. But I love
Absolutely.
that. I love the idea, of pay the price, that idea of what are you willing to give up? That's the part that people don't like, I'm going to need to give up the cheesecake, and I'm going to need to give up the grains, or, I'm going to need to give up, watching 4 hours of Netflix each evening or whatever, right? And really, that's the question. It's where the rubber meets the road. It's the traction. And then this last one that's still on the screen, this idea of visualize. So the secrets that you really shared that hit hard, the three in the middle, I think, are very important. And that's where usually most people stop. What you brought to bear, though, is that idea of the why and the who. Bam, that gets you your traction. And then you tied a bow around it with the idea of visualizing it. And again, I'm going to say, my coaching hat on, is the idea of visualizing is on a 360 kind of a level. Visualizing, yes, what you're going to see, but also what are you going to hear? How are you going to sound when you meet your goal? How are you going to sound when you become more confident? How do you sound when you meet the goal for your career or for your family, right? How are you going to feel? How will people feel you when you walk in the room? Visualize that. And put that, as Anish said, the more you fire up the clarity that's going on, the easier it's going to be. It's like gas in the car. You say, hey, I want to go to the Grand Canyon, and we're going to drive there. Well, I don't know where you're located, but just pretend, right? And we're going to drive to the Grand Canyon. That's great. That's like Anish, he talked about a wish. We're going to wish. We're going to go and we're just going to sit in the car, and it doesn't start because there's no gasoline. So that was a dead goal. Does that make sense? It's a goal that had no life. It's a goal that had really no why or no who, because obviously you didn't put it into place. What we're using is these tools that he just shared with us as gasoline in the car. Not just a quarter tank of gas, right? But a full tank of gas. Here we go. And this is the why. We want to have an experience with the family that will stay for years and decades. Hey, remember that one time we went to the Grand Canyon? I want to have that family time in the car. We want to be able to stop several different places along the way and talk about American history or whatever, right? That's your why. And your who is, I want to be the kind of mom, I want to be the kind of dad that provides these kind of memories for my children, right? I want to be the kind of person that enjoys the journey, right? So these secrets are the gasoline to put into the car to get to where you can push through and press into that goal even when things get hard, right?
Absolutely.
So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. I think I had one question for you. I really like what you talked about with the who, and it's who you want to become. Who you want to become. And you and I had a personal conversation yesterday. Let's talk about a couple hints that help people to become who they want to become. Anish, sometimes things get so busy, so traumatic, so difficult, that my mind read is that some people are watching this or listening to this and saying, you know what, gosh, I just want to be able to survive till tonight. I just want to get through the next shift. I just want to get through the end of the week. I just want to get to where my kids start going to school or or graduate from high school or whatever. And those are valid. They're valid goals to get through the end of the day. But they don't provide fuel. It's just survival mode. So let's talk about just a couple of hints as two coaches saying, what would we pull out as the best guidance or advice or counsel regarding that idea of who do you want to become? Because sometimes people lose sight of that. So let's talk about that a little bit. How does that land for you, Anish?
Yeah, so there are two important sentiments, when people are, trying to just live for the next day for all the right reasons, right? Or the circumstances. One is hope. You have more hope and you are the expert on hope, Ana-Christina, but when you have more hope is a future-based sentiment, right? It's a future-based emotion. So you need to have hope and you got to have faith, right? You got to have faith that yes, what you are hoping for will become a reality, right? So your goals are your, the way I call it is when you have dreams and then you break down your dreams into goals, right? That are milestones that can be achieved. Now these goals are like, quarterly goals, monthly goals, annual goals, right? And then you have these daily activities that you need to take to march step by step toward those goals. So if your goal is to come out of depression at the end of 30 days from now or 60 days from now, then your goal has to be, look, I'm going to wake up and feel good about myself. I'm going to wake up and document what I'm thankful for today. These are some of the things that you will need to practice in that instance. The goals are intentionally set for a little bit long term, because that gives you faith and hope to march towards them. But you have to still do the daily activities and tasks which become the habits. And I think that is what you're talking about, where people are saying, you know what, I'm just going to survive today and I'm going to live tomorrow is another day I've not seen tomorrow. I'm going to live in the present. Absolutely. That is very, very important, right? That's a spiritual principle of living in the present. But that is what I say. It's under the context that we all know that we have to live in the present, but you have something to hope for. Because at the end of the day, we are all goal-striving mechanisms, right? That is how we are genetically engineered and scientifically proven that that is why when you don't have a goal, that is why a lot of people after retiring from corporate life die within a year.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a goal to look up to. They don't know why they're waking up for. So that is what I would say, that hope and faith become very important in that situation from my perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. So that idea of holding on to that hope, and I like what you talked about there, that faith, you have to have some sort of faith, or even a measure, just the size of a mustard seed of faith, that what you hope for will become reality. And then you can start taking those steps. The thing that I would say as a coach is to take a look at who you are right now, who you are that you don't like. Okay, we're not going to park there. We're not going to live there. We're not going to focus on that, which too many people do. However, we're going to at least take one look at it and say, this is where I went sideways yesterday, today, in today's meeting, in today's call, in last year. You can do it for a year. You can do it for a decade. You can do it for a month. You can do it for literally the last conversation that you had. Anish and I could do it on this webinar. We could say, hey, what do we wish we'd done instead? Let's do it for the next webinar. Right? And that's exactly what we want to do, is to be able to say, when we get a little bit confused about who we are, to say, who was I that went sideways? What did I do that went sideways in the past? Might be the past hour, past day, past week, past year. And then say, what would I like to do instead? Who would I like to become instead? I was really impatient last week. Who would I like to become instead? I am, and using your present term, I am a patient person. I am a measured thinker. In other words, I think before I speak. I am, for somebody that isn't, for somebody that wants to be more spontaneous, you can say, I am becoming more spontaneous every day. I am becoming more ordered every day.
Yeah.
I am becoming. See, that's current. Yeah. And so it's these idea, I am an ordered person. I am an orderly person. I am an organized person, right? That's one of my things for this year, is maintaining more order in my environment. So that's one thing I can focus on each day as a goal, or as an overarching goal. And then my goal is to do something specific by a deadline, right? I'm going to clear through my files by the end of January. That might be the more specific goal. Yeah. But that's part of how we can visualize ourselves, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think, so that is why you need to know who you want to become, because that is the only way you will be able to contrast yourself to who you are today.
Yes. Yes.
Who
you were before.
Exactly.
Who you were before. Yeah. Not so that you sit there and kick your butt about it.
Correct.
100 times a day with negative messages, but so that you can say, who would I like to be instead? Who am I becoming instead?
It allows you to identify the gap so that you can slowly and slowly close the gap, right?
Yes. Love it. I love that idea.
That is why the who is very important. So then you can differentiate yourself and find out the gap that you have to close.
Absolutely.
To become who you want to become.
Absolutely. 100%. I agree. Well, Anish, thank you. So people can reach you where? Give us your contact information.
So the best thing for people to do is, to reach out to me at Anish at empowermindset.coach. Maybe you can leave that in your post.
Anish at empowermindset.coach.
Correct. Anish at empowermindset.coach. Just send me an email for the ebook. Refer to Ana-Christina's this Tuesday Resilience webinar, and I will send that ebook, and then they can reach out to me for, if they want me to speak to the other audiences, their groups in their corporations, I could do that too. And we can take it from there.
Perfect. Perfect. Sounds good. If you would stop sharing your screen, that would be great.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, we just want to thank you for being here. We want to thank you for taking your time and sharing your resources. We're talking about resources, right? We're talking about resources help to build resilience. And what Anish and I love to do is partner together and bring resources that you might otherwise not get, right? Resilience resources. So I have just created a new resource-based page, and it is called resilienceresources.toolsofhope.com. resilienceresources.toolsofhope.com. There are free resources. There's all kinds of help there. As far as when you scroll down the page, there are counseling options available. Sometimes people don't want to go to counseling in their own town, and or to get resources in their own town. There's online virtual courses that are available there. So resilienceresources.toolsofhope.com. I just want to thank Anish for being here. Thank you for sharing your expertise and being willing to be flexible enough, right, to go from an entrepreneurial world, and he dives bravely into the first responder and victim advocate world to share with us tools that help us get through call after call after call, right? What we are here doing is we're sharing tools of hope for the resilience builders. It's practical tools to help you continue to speak healing, make a difference, and be a light in the darkness. This is Ana-Christina. Thank you for being with us.